Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Mario coming to you live again with another episode of the Random Select Podcast. And today I'm joined by Carlotta from Carlotta's Blogs and Vlogs. And today we're just gonna talk and ask some questions, same like we do all the time, just random stuff that we feel like we want to talk about, and we're just gonna kind of go from there. I'll give you guys a chance to let Carlotta introduce herself. By now, you guys should be definitely used to seeing her, but we're gonna go from there and let Carlotta introduce herself and get it all in. Let's go.
Hey, this is Carlotta. I have a Facebook page, Carlotta's Blogs and Vlogs. Carlotta's Blogs and Vlogs. And I write mostly about relationships and issues, the good and the bad. And it's mostly women that, of course, are members of my page. But I have no problems entertaining the men also, as long as you're fair. But I also have a website for my blogs and my vlogs, and that's carlottasblog.com. So that's it.
All right, well, Carlotta, we got you. And today we thought we'd start it off with a little something different. I guess the question we're gonna ask is, I don't know. You wrote a blog, and gonna ask some questions. The first question we're gonna ask is: should you constantly have to watch your man? That's a good question to start it off with. What do you think? Should you constantly have to watch your man?
The blog is actually called "If You Gotta Constantly Watch Him, Your Relationship Is Over." That's the one I put up this morning. Um, it is over. You don't have a relationship. Lots of people stay for the wrong reasons, and sometimes people are just not ready to let go, especially when the partner is the one that kind of created the breakup. So in your heart, you're not ready to let go, so you kind of stick around, but it won't be forever. But of course, you believe you need to watch your man and keep track of everything he does to make sure he doesn't cheat, and that's just impossible. If you got to stay and check his phones and screen everything, and as some people do, the smell check when you walk through the door. Do you smell like soap? Do you smell like something else? Or you checking his phone records, checking his debit, credit card statements. If you have to do all that, that's not love. You shouldn't have to watch a person so much. If they love you, they should be doing right by you.
That's how you feel about that.
Yeah.
I I feel I don't know. I feel that once you feel that, whether it be a man or a woman, that you got to start constantly watching the person that you're with, constantly, figuring that you have to go in their phones and go, asking who they with, what time they got home, why it took you so long. That story don't add up. Once the trust starts to fade, in any relationship, it's headed down a slippery slope. It's headed down the type of path that you, as a man, you go, well, I don't know. I just think that that's some screwed up mess. That if she got to watch me, I don't know. After a while, I'll get tired of having to, look over my shoulder. Tired of having to have to explain every move. Because at the end of the day, I'm a grown ass man, and I don't feel that I should have to do that. I mean,
I think a lot of times the reason why the people end up in those situations is because the man messed up somewhere. And so the man is allowing this stuff to go on because he also wants to prove himself. He doesn't want to lose the woman. But it's just inevitable. They're going to break up. It's just in that moment, they're slowly pulling away from each other. But it's a process, just like grieving.
see, pulling away from each other and all that, I get it and it's good. But I'm telling you, as a grown man, if I haven't set the precedence for you to be watching over me, and that's just your natural way of being, because maybe you've been hurt in the past, or maybe you've had reasons not to trust a man. then after a while, that's what we call, sabotaging the relationship, because what you think might happen, you kind of bring into existence for it to happen. And at the bottom, at the end of the day, that shit is you don't want a woman watching over you every time you do something. Now, granted, now if you the type of man that done kind of fucked up and did all type of stuff and cheating and lying to her, then that goes with the territory. You have to expect that that's the way she's gonna be with you, But bottom line is, as a woman, if you feel you have to constantly do that, then that's not the man for you, baby. If you feel you have to do that, you got to move on, because peace of mind is everything in a relationship. Do you want to constantly do that? And if you feel you got a man and you telling everybody, oh, this is my man, but you constantly calling people, have you seen him? Oh, I thought he was coming over here, calling his mama, calling his brother and stuff like that. That ain't you. That who wants to live like that? Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, that's a prisoner and the warden, and no man wants the warden to tell him what to do. So it's all temporary, and it's gonna fall apart.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, that's pretty much how that works. So I don't know. I just definitely think you shouldn't hold on to a man if he don't want to be held on to, and things of that nature. I just think that I don't know. I don't know.
And
I got some real true thoughts about it, but sometimes you just
no, no, no,
you
no, no. Don't sugarcoat it. Say how you feel.
okay. You want to really know how I feel about that?
Yeah.
I just think I'm grown, and if I ain't give you a reason like that, don't be watching over me. I ain't no goddamn child.
Okay, so
If you
we
feel
say
that you got to do that, then baby girl, you move the fuck on, move on. I don't need you. It's
let's
plenty of
but
fish in the sea, and if
so
you feel
do
that
you
you got to be my
say
overseer, my watcher, then I don't need that. I'm a black man. They got plenty of jails and prison out here waiting for somebody to watch over me, tell me when should I be somewhere. So I don't need that with you, and that's
okay?
just how I feel about
What's your
that.
reply? What's your reply if you're the one that messed up and you decided to stay because you wanted to work? You don't think you should be compromising?
I think that if I screwed up, if I fucked up, I lied, I cheated on you, if you decided to forgive me and give me another chance, you gotta, bite that bullet and say, hey, look, if I'm gonna truly forgive him, then I'm gonna try to truly forgive him. You know what I mean? But if you feel that you can't do it, then don't do it, and move on. Don't say you willing to try to make it work. Don't say you forgive me and let's go on. And then from that point forward, checking on me, you know, uh, like I'm a little boy. Other than that, you
But
got to try
that
to forgive
when
wholeheartedly.
when men go into those agreements, it's always short term. For some reason, they feel that I'm gonna agree to this, but give you a couple of weeks, you're gonna go back to normal, and we don't really have to do this shit. And that's one of the problems where you feel get over it, and so you feel they're not justified to look at anything you do because if you do something wrong and you're saying forgive me, of course the person doesn't trust you, so they're gonna be kind of watching to see if you're getting to do it again, because we're humans. You're not gonna sit there like a fool and let the person stab you twice in the same spot. So if you agree to stay, you have to also be understanding that there's no certain specific time limit for when it should be over, and that's one of the problems. Y'all expect sorry is gonna fix it, and I saw your thing last night, your blog about the power of good morning and people replying when they really don't want to. It's the same thing that goes to sorry. You can't use it as a pass to move on to something else when you really don't mean it.
Okay, I feel you. I got you. All right, we're gonna move on to the next question, and the next question is: do we protect our things, our possessions, more than we protect our heart?
Yeah, that's my second blog. I think I put that one up yesterday. Blog, I should say. And I was thinking about it. I said, if we worry about our cars, our jewelry, our money, if somebody walked up and said, "I'll buy you a diamond ring," and they said, "Give me the ring, and I'll come back and give you the money this evening," you would tell them, "Hell no! You think I'm stupid? You're not gonna come back." But it's amazing as women. We will allow guys to come say some little line to us, and we will gamble on the fact that he must mean us good because he said so. And women have a tendency to jump. This new generation of women have a tendency to jump ahead and say, you know what? Instead of really figuring out where you're coming from, I'm just going to go ahead and give you sex. And then I'll see if I'll get a relationship out of it, or I'll see if I'll get you coming back over and over. And then they get upset when the guy disappears on them. So that's where I got the idea from. I'm like, if somebody came and said, "Let me buy you a diamond ring, I'll bring you the money later," you would never hand over your jewelry to somebody with no cash, but you'll hand over your heart to strangers because they're really truly strangers. You'll hand over your heart, you'll hand over your body, and gamble with them holding out their part to stick to what they say they're going to do.
Okay. Well, I look at it like this. We as people, I've said this 1,000 times. Human nature, for some reason, has trained us to care about everything around us except us. You know what I mean? We'll inherently take care of other people. We'll inherently, give to strangers. Stuff like that. But for some reason, we tend to neglect ourselves. I
Hmm.
think that, as I've said plenty of times, we're just not trained anymore for matters of the heart. We're trained to do everything except for listen to our heart. We'll say that women has good uh, intuition, and that's true. But intuition, I think, doesn't necessarily mean you're listening to your heart. You just going with that gut feeling to tell you something is right or wrong. But when our heart is telling us something, we go against it. Your heart saying, "I know I love this person, and I know this person might give a shit about me, but I don't think it's right." But we go against that every time.
Hmm.
And sometimes
Because
when
it's
our feelings,
desperation. It's
huh?
desperation. I think it's desperation because of the fact that it's so much less relationships going on and more of casual sex. And so the women are doing it with a gamble, hoping that that will make the guy stay. And the guy's taking advantage of the fact that he knows she's hoping, and he's just have a group of people that are hoping, and he's getting everything he wants.
Well, sometimes I agree. Desperation and sometimes material things. We stay with people for all type of reasons. And I just think that yeah, we do care, like moving somebody in, that like you like to say, paying half of the bills. We care about they got a car, we care about they fine, we care about how they look. Light skin, as you like to say, once you get a little money, you want to move up. Nobody cares about the love no more. If you ask somebody to make a list and ask what's on the top of that list, I'm telling you, love is every year.
Hmm.
Love moves further and further down on the list. And yeah, we care about possessions more than love, because the first thing we always say, love can't pay no bills.
Hmm.
That has turned into a mantra. That has turned into what we all believe now. That yeah, I care about him. Yeah, he got my heart, but shit, I gotta get to this money somehow. He ain't making no money. And then sometimes when we do follow our heart, it be for the wrong person. It be for the person who brings nothing to your life, who kind of actually takes you down. You have to work harder because you told them motherfuckers on your back up the hill. So then you say, "Oh, but my heart tells me I love him." I don't think your heart told you you love him. I think that because you wanted him for whatever reason, because we humans, we want people for whatever reason we want them. That's what you listen to. I don't think it's your heart.
Yeah, it's not the heart. I think a lot of times women get to the point where they get so lonely, they don't want to admit it. They're the first one to tell you, "I don't need a man." But deep down inside, they get so lonely that they will adjust to a lot of stuff that they shouldn't adjust to. And they do it secretly. And that's the group of people that keeps messing it up for everybody else, because people are adjusting.
Okay, I feel you on that. I think when it comes to certain things, you can't adjust to. Certain things, it is what it is, and it ain't gonna change, and that's just the way it is. You can do all the adjusting you want, but adjusting only works when both parties adjust. If I'm doing it, we was in a relationship, and I'm doing all the adjusting, and you not, what difference does it matter that I'm adjusting? Because if you say I'm gonna be me, I don't give a fuck what he doing, then it's always gonna feel like I'm pulling against the grain. You know what I mean? That's just like y'all women always say that Y'all want foreplay, y'all want romance, and if you trying to work toward that and he can't give you that, at some point, aren't you gonna get tired of trying to force him to romance you, force him to give you foreplay and stuff like that? At some point, aren't you gonna get tired of that?
Hmm. Yep. And that's when you try to move on.
Yeah, so he's gonna be tired. So your heart can, I mean, you can want what you want, but sometimes I don't know if it has anything to necessarily do with your heart. So what's the next question that you had?
I don't know if this is the next one, but this stuff we're talking about kind of lead into the whole dating down. Was that the next one that you had ready to go?
The next question that we had, yeah, we can go with dating down.
Okay. Um, this one I wrote a while back. I think I put it up. It went up April 22nd, but I wrote it from your website. Um, and that's where they were saying that we need to start dating down and stop having this list of requirements. So a couple of years ago, I said, let me try to date down because maybe my list had too many expectations, and that's why it's so difficult to find the right match. And I tried it and decided that fuck it. I'm not dating down. I rather stay by myself and wait for the person that matches me perfectly or kind of perfectly. But I'm not dating down, because I went out with a person that showed up in a t-shirt that was like a nightgown, baggy pants, Timberlands with no lace in it. The lace was in it, but it weren't tied. He was just dragging the shoes behind him, and he came in his mother's car, and I was like, where do you live? Live with his mom. But in the meantime, you want to tell me my car is a piece of shit. Oh, Mercedes Benz is a piece of shit. They don't make them very well anymore. And I struck up a conversation and said that I like to travel. He's like, me too. And I'm like, I said, I like international traveling. He's like, me too. And I said, oh, where have you been international? He said, Alabama. So I thought maybe he didn't understand what I said. So I repeated back to give him a chance to catch on and fix it. And he said, Alabama. I said, once I realized you don't know what international mean, I'm like, we don't have nothing in common. So, and then he had a problem with me. He said I was bougie because I didn't want to accept him for the way how he is. And before the end of the date, he came out and told me, well, I got somebody that I do see ever so often, and she don't have no problem coming to pick me up and blah blah blah. And I was like, you know what? The date is over, and I'm gonna take my ass home. And fuck this old dating down. It's not that we're trying to be bougie, but you know what your requirements are. If you're not into hood rat chicks, you not gonna go date down and sit there with a girl popping gum and twirling her weave and have no clue as to anything you're talking about. It's uncomfortable. You have nothing in common. What are you gonna talk about? Communication is the number one key in a relationship. If you have nothing in common and everything you talk about, it goes right over her head. And what's the sense of dating her? So for me, dating down is a waste of time. But I understand some women, they're not looking for long term. The cougars, if he's young, his body look good, and he can screw, that that's fine. And right now cougars are in. But I rather stay by myself than deal with the fact that mentally we have nothing in common.
All right. I really got some views and opinions about this dating down thing. I look at it like this: as any person, whether it be a man or a woman, right? If you got your own house, you got your own car, you got a decent job, and you make a certain amount of money, at the very least, that's what you can ask and expect in a person. I have no problem with that. I have no problem whatsoever from the man's side or the woman's side, because that's the very least you can ask for. But I can't stand when these motherfuckers who be working at McDonald's, riding a bus, living with their mom, living with family members, be talking about, I want a dime piece. She got to be making this type of money. She got to be making that type of money. She got to be driving this type of car. And you don't have any of those things.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but you hold out for it and you try to say, this is what I'm waiting on. instead of getting out there trying to get it yourself. So dating down can definitely not work. I just think, yeah, you could love somebody and help them get to where they're going. But once you see that that person, man or woman, lack the desire to try to improve themselves to get to at least your level, it's not going to work because you're going to see it as a drag. You're going to see it as you constantly working to get to a point, and all they doing is sitting back and reaping the benefits of it. And then you ever notice when you date down, or the person is at a lower status or something from than you, and you suggest to try to get them to a certain point, they always have issues with it. I don't understand why you got to work so hard to fight to get somebody to want to better themselves, better they fucking lives. They just want to sit there and criticize you and say you bougie because you've took the time to get the things that you want in life and get to where you going, but they see it as a problem. I don't understand why you have to force grown people to want to see a future for themselves. So I just think that if you love somebody, you meet them and then you date down, then you got to know going in that there's a potential that this might not work.
And I just want to say that I'm not saying if you have a lower income job, that means, oh, I'm dating down. I'm talking about the whole package because you could have a guy that is in a lower income job, but he's intelligent, he's articulate, he's ambitious, and you can date him because he's moving. I'm talking about the people that when you look at five, six things, you could see they're not moving at all. They're stuck. You could see their future clearer than them. And that's what I'm talking about. All those guys that don't have a stable job and living with their moms, but love to say, "Oh, I'm just helping out my mom." But whose house are you in? Are you in your mom's house or your mom in your house? Because it makes a difference. So that's what I'm talking about. I don't have an issue with how much money you make because you're working. But the issue is when you look at their whole pattern of how they live in their life, they're really not doing anything for themselves.
Well, see, you can say that. I'm saying from the standpoint that you could say that a person is you're not looking at it from a standpoint of that they have a lower job or, and things like that. I mean, I'm gonna be total honest. I don't give a fuck. I'm just saying that if I was to date a woman and you love her and you care about her, but you see that she's in a lower position, and then you try to, cause being in a relationship with somebody means you support them. You want to see them do better. Then you constantly feel like in order for them to get to where they're going, so y'all can be a better unit together, it's like pulling teeth. I'm telling you, it's going to run into problems. Not because they're not smart, not because they work at a lesser job, but because they lack the ambition, they lack the desire and drive. Because you can love somebody all you want, but you cannot put desire and drive in people. I'm telling you, you cannot do it. That's either something that's there or not there. Because I'm like Mike Singletary. I cannot do it and I will not do it. That's something you got to come to the relationship with already. Because at this particular point, as we middle-aged adults, do you have time to wait, 5 or 10 years to wait till somebody develop a fire up under their ass? At this point in your life, do you have that type of time?
No, no. And even if you think you do, you're going to get burned out.
Yes, I don't got the type of time to wait on you. And not saying that I don't love you, because love can overconquer all. But I still say love mixed with the right amount of common sense makes a great relationship. Not just love alone.
Right. Okay.
So I mean, so that rolls us right into our next question.
Hmm.
Can women be players too? Can women be players?
Hell yeah, women can be players. But I don't think women want to willingly, and I'm talking about good women. I ain't talking about these women running around trying to scheme on a man. I think women mostly become players because somebody hurt them. No matter how much they keep saying I'm a bad bitch and blah 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 whatever, that's because somebody hurt you and you feel you're gonna protect yourself and you're gonna put your guard up and you're gonna do back to another person what somebody did to you. So they could be players, and I have no problem with it. I just say if you're gonna be a player, don't get the good guy and play because that's what seems to happen all the time. Go get the one that deserves to be played because he's out there playing other women. But it seemed like people always hook up with the victims are not right. When you shoot, you got to get your target. Don't get the innocent people standing around. Because when you decide that you're hurt, you become a player and you play. another man, another man that is a good man. You damage him and you create another victim. And so it becomes like a disease. And then we're slowly losing a lot of good people to, you know, I'm a sucker because this girl came and played me and I thought she loved me and no, she's gone. I have a friend that um, spend up like $80,000 on this chick. And I told him don't do it, but he think he's in love. He just knew her for a few months. Once she got that last penny and she realized he was broke, she became a whole different person. He lost everything. So, but that's what you don't do. Don't go get the good guy that means you good because you're gonna poison him. Because once she left him alone, you left a bitter man, you know. So women can be players, but do it different than the guy. Go play the guy that deserves it. Don't play the good ones.
Okay, this is what I say about that. I've learned a long time ago, and this is the God honest truth, where I grew up from, in Atlanta, Thomasville, the east side, representing. Um, we learned from rap songs and just from being in the hood, real players wear skirts. And that's just the bottom line. See, we always look at pimps, players, and all that stuff as a man, as men. But we've learned a long time ago that a woman has the power to manipulate men just for murder, manipulate men to get better jobs, to want to do better in their life, manipulate men to become drug addicts, manipulate men to rob, steal, kill, do everything because women has this power over us that sometimes we just go fucking crazy. We go fucking loopy when it comes to women. So women, not only can women be players, women are the best players. Women are the ones who laid the game down and taught it to us. Because guess what? We are so brash and bold and arrogant with our plan that it's out there for the world to see. Most women out here who are sneaking around and on the low, most people would never see. Most people would never know because all their stuff is done under the cover of darkness. So women are the best players. So not only can they be players, women are the ultimate player. So
I disagree. I think if women are such good players, a lot of us would still have black men in the house creating beautiful families and the neighborhoods and the people look there'll be more black couples. If we're such good at being good players, why are we not able to keep the men around? Why there's so much single women out there with babies and the guys are gone? Because a lot of times, as I said, this syndrome is let me give you the pussy. I hope you'll do right by me. Because there's so much competition and a lot of guys are playing women. They come and pretend they're good. And the women fall for it, give up stuff. I've heard of guys that will come and tell a woman, have my baby. And she swear, oh, because he says that, he must really love me. And then before she even give birth, the guy's gone. So if we're such good players, how the hell did we're not all in houses with men in our lives? The men are the players. The women are just learning. And yes, there's women out there doing whatever, but the guys are a couple steps ahead of us.
not only do I not believe that, I know for a fact it's the reason it's called players because what do most players do? Play games, right?
Hmm.
Y'all are inherently better lovers than us, but most women aren't killing for dick. Men kill for pussy. Men steal for pussy. Men
Yeah.
start wars and stuff over pussy. Y'all just the mere thought of certain things can get us to do anything. We're not saying, who makes the best, lifelong partners and stuff like that. We talking about players. Women get it done. Just because y'all is not out there, it's just now in this generation just starting to come to the forefront where y'all don't. Well, a lot of most women, some women just don't care and they feel it's all about the money, where them dollars at. But for a long time, y'all did y'all stuffs in the shadows, and and that's just the way it worked. I mean, look. I tell you all the time where I come from. Look how many hood guys grew up watching their quote unquote uncles. You know what I mean? They uncles. and you know damn well that those people weren't your uncles. But we still looked at women as good, wholesome being women. But a lot of them, you talk to most guys, everybody had that quote unquote uncle.
Yeah, but you have to look at the fact that that was also a different generation, a different group of people that a lot of those women didn't have opportunities. So a lot of them were staying with men just because the men have a good job at the post office or something like that, but she's not in love with him. And so what they decided to do was I'll stay, but I'm still gonna mess with the people that I really desire. I don't really want your ass except for your check. Now we're in a different environment where these women have jobs. They do want a man that means some good to them. But the problem is what to go back to what you were saying about women are more players than men. It ain't too much men sitting around killing a pile of women every week as much as there's black women out there popping up babies, and then before you even deliver the man's gone, or after you deliver he's gone. It's way more abandoned black women out there than women that have been killed by black men. Most of them don't give a fuck, much less to try to kill. They're gone. It's easy just to run after you hit and you realize, wait a minute, the infatuation is wearing off. So I understand what you're saying, but there's way more cowards that are out there playing games than men that feel like I'm so hurt I want to kill.
Well, but the question is, can women be players? That's the question. And the
They can.
question is
Okay.
unquestionable. Without doubt that women can be players and women are players. And I'm just telling you that it's not so many women out there buying men cars and paying for condo notes and all that type of stuff. But there's plenty of men out there buying women cars and keeping women up in condo notes and the woman has multiple people doing that. And I'm not saying no man is doing that, but I'm just saying more than likely the women are players because look at Superhead. For years she wrote a book why how all these people were taking care of her, putting her up in condos in Miami, New York, LA, all these Costa Rica, all these
But was
places.
but was she really playing them? Because players usually don't know that the person is coming at you under false pretense. She wasn't really a player. She was just a slut.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, for her to be a slut, she got a lot of things out of them. But just imagine, what about the regular guys who don't know what she doing? I'm telling you, for every superstar she had sprinkled in there, she had some regular guy that swear he was getting, some hell of a chicken. She was playing the hell out of him, playing the shit out of him.
Right, but that's all from greed because a lot of times because a lot of men don't spend enough time to try to get to know
What do
what
most
she
players
is.
play for? They playing for something. They playing the game for keeps, whether it be for sex, money, greed, or whatever. That's why you play the game.
Right? And most of the time, debate is their body. If a man was trying to see a woman from something more than the size of her ass and her breasts, maybe he would know he was getting ready to be played. But
What else could you play for in the beginning? Because when you first meet a person or you first see somebody, unless you spending a lot of time with them at work or a lot of time, talking to them at the park or something, the first time when you see somebody, it's going to be for their looks or it's going to be for whatever physical attribute you like in a person. So a lot of times when you meet someone, the first thing you say either she pretty, she cute, or she fine. She got big titties, she got big ass. I
can
bet
I
that thing hit right. So that's all you got to go by.
and he knows most likely he might be getting played, but he's crossing his finger and hoping, but he's not. But the first thing, what do men mostly do? They try to offer a bait. They don't even care if or evaluate the fact that maybe she's here for the wrong reason. They're so caught up in that damn infatuation and lust that they're the same ones offer the bait. Start using that card to bait the woman. The dinners, the money, the gifts. And then you want to sit around and complain that, oh, she used me. But weren't you starting off the whole process baiting her? When my friend ended up losing all that money to that girl, I had told him when he met her, I said, don't tell her what you do. Don't let her think you got money. Pretend you're broke, you have a regular minimum wage job, and wait it out and see if she sticks around. He didn't do what I tell him. Just if you had done that, you would have gotten rid of her because once she realized there was nothing to gain and she didn't care to get to know who you are on the inside, she would have left. But immediately, he started offering to pay her our mortgage. And that was the first date. And once you give out a little, they got you.
Okay, I feel you. I mean, that's I don't know. I agree with what you're saying 100%. I mean, I don't know. It, to
I'm just
me,
like,
the
just like
question
women
is,
don't
can
get
women
what.
be players? And I'm just telling you, not only can they be players, they can be damn good players and better than men at it. That's just the bottom line. That's the
Yeah,
truth.
they could be better than men, but both of them are no good. Men or women, both of them are no good. Sometimes I wish they all could play each other, but unfortunately, they have no use for each other.
Well, sometimes players do hook up with each other, but that's why it's called playing. They both don't know that they're playing each other, and to them, it seems all good. She ain't never got to spend too much time with him. He ain't never got to spend too much time with her. He break off a little money every so often. She break him off a little sex every so often, and it all works. It's just one perpetual machine that stays in motion, and everybody's happy with it these days.
Okay.
I mean, it's all good. Nobody's complaining, right?
Uh, Ask the victims.
All right. Well, do we have any other questions, or that's it? We done got to them all.
No, I think you forgot the last one. The one where if are you staying for every other reason besides love?
Oh, okay. No, we stand for every other reason besides love.
Yeah, I got this blog where the guy set up a hidden camera to trick his wife with an old ticket that they won the lotto. And then the wife knew he was gonna trick her, so she decided she was gonna react where, oh, we're rich, I'm gonna leave you. I've been waiting to leave you. No, I can afford to leave you. And that's what I was thinking about. How many people out there are really staying with each other for other reasons? Oh, it's easier to be with you because it's two incomes. If I leave you, I got to pay a full mortgage by myself. Or if I leave you, you'll take me for child support. It's cheaper to keep her, you know? So you makes you wonder, if you hit the lotto tomorrow, would you really stay with your mate?
I just know that I don't know if you really love somebody, you stay with them. I mean, whether they hit the lottery, whether you hit the lottery or not, you stay with them. I mean, that's just the way that it works. It just depends on if y'all are grounded and got love from the get go. But in today's world, when most people stand for every other reason besides love, when they hit the lottery, yes, they the hell up out of there. He'll come in and say, "Hey, look, baby, it's been real and it's been fun, but it ain't been real fun. I'm the fuck out of here." Just like most women, especially if she the type of woman who kind of gave up on the man a while back, but he been such a good provider as far as taking care of the kids and financially and she, cause from what I've learned from most women, once the love ain't there anymore, the worst thing y'all hate to have to do is to let the man be all on top of you, humping you, doing what he got to do. You ain't even in it anymore. As one woman like to tell me, all I feel like I'm doing is servicing the man. So if a woman felt like that, of course, when her lottery tickets come in, she is the hell up out of there. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. And I remember when I lived in New York, this man had won like 200 and something million. And him and his wife showed up at the lotto place. They were all happy and taking pictures. And within 2 weeks, she filed for divorce.
Well, that's the way that usually works. I mean, because we always assume just because we see people together that they're happy, because a lot of times once you pass a certain point, it becomes like a convenience type thing. Y'all become more sort of like roommates than actual, husband and wife lovers or whatever. Y'all have become used to the routine. And once you get a routine going in a marriage where, I mean, it becomes clockwork routine, that could be boring. And you can love somebody all you want. But once it becomes so mundane, so routine, everybody looks for a little change. Even if you just go for that change for a little while and then kind of come back, that's how cheating and all this stuff starts from the get go because you just daydream and wonder and just try to see what it's like on the other side of the fence. You might not want to stay on the other side of the fence, but I'm pretty sure people, especially women, y'all daydream all the time, like what it would be like to be with somebody else, especially if you've been with that person since you was young. That's how this all happens.
Hmm.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, that's true. And because a lot of people, especially the older generation, those people that believed, custom was you stay with each other. And a lot of those people stayed. You think, oh, they were more happy back then. How many of them were really more happy, or how many of them just felt it was better to stay with each other financially? You know, now it's easier now for people just to say, look, I can afford to
Well,
move on.
see, back in the day, before divorce and the internet and all that stuff, where people could easily track you down and stuff like that. When a man was tired of a woman back in the 50s and 60s and stuff like that, they would just leave home and never come the fuck back. Period. That's how it would just work. No divorce, no nothing. When a man was tired of being a family man or tired of being a husband, he just leave. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? That old proverbial, honey, I'll be back. I'm going to get I'm going to get some milk and eggs, and
Yep.
she ain't seen him in 15 years.
But now, people just get up and go. But also, even though the economy has gotten better, people realize they're smart enough to say, wait a minute, I can survive a little better if I keep you around. And
Yeah,
a lot of guys don't want child support. They rather just stay and say, shit, I'm gonna wait it out until the kids turn 18.
yeah. That's just the way that works. Cause, truth be told, if you was kind of borderline, sometimes you could be happy, but you just feel like you and a person grew apart. You don't really hate him, he don't really hate you, but it just ain't the same as it once was. And $200 million will make you rethink everything, wouldn't you think?
Yep,
I
yep,
mean, I won $200 million. I definitely, rethink some stuff if I was in a relationship that I wasn't happy with. Because guess what? It wouldn't even be about trying to sneak and keep the money. I would cut that shit right down the middle. Get her 100, give me my 100 billion, and you go your way. Have a nice life. I go mine. Because you got the type of money where you ain't got to try to sneak and do whatever. You get her 100, you go on with your life. Because I'm telling you, I would ponder it. You know what I mean? But I'm telling you, money don't always solve every problem. Money don't always make you happy.
it,
Cause
it don't. But I always say I rather cry in a beautiful house and a nice car than cry in some little raggedy place somewhere struggling.
see, don't knock raggedy place and don't knock struggling. Cause I'm telling you, and this as a grown man who's done a few things in his life, been a few places, and seen a lot of stuff. And I'm telling you, in my lifetime, I have never been more happier than when I was didn't have that much money and I was living in the hood and life was. I'm telling you, now when you got so much responsibility, paying out so much this and so much, life is better. At least on the surface, it seems better. But I'm telling you, from a mental standpoint and just how you feel inside your heart and inside your soul, I'm telling you, I was happier when I had less. I know it sounds crazy, but it's the truth.
And I'm telling you this right now. I think if somebody could wave a wand and put you back there, you would say, you know what? I forgot how it felt. When can I go back to where I came from? I think because it's all a little fantasy right now, that's why it seems that way. Um, I
I
don't
don't think
know.
so. I really don't think so. I'm telling you, sometimes, like I tell you all the time, when we try to help people and we can't understand why they're not doing what they're supposed to do, why they won't want to leave here, sometimes we tend to forget people are comfortable where they at. We see it because we see it from our standpoint. There's no way I could be comfortable living over there in the hood. There's no way I could be comfortable working here and working. Some people are genuinely happy with their status and where they're at, and we tend to overlook that because we're projecting how we see things onto them.
Okay, that's fine. But if somebody came and said, "Look, do you miss your life when you were younger? Let's pick you up and put you back in the hood." And you'll realize and remember why you left the hood. When you go to work and come back and all your shit gone from the people that are not working that decide that, what, we'll just take your shit while you go make more money. So it's sometimes it's just a fantasy. As I said, I'll stick to my stuff. I'm happy crying in a nice, beautiful mansion than crying somewhere where I don't want to be. Now, relationship wise, if you said, look, if you were poor and you were with the man that loved the hell out of you and you were happy, That's a hard gamble. I can't choose one over one. I just hope
You've
that,
already made that choice. You just said you will be
yeah,
comfortable
yeah,
crying in your Beamer and in your,
yeah.
$170,000 home.
Because guess what? If I remember struggling to get up to a certain point, if I'm in love and we're wonderful, it still sucks. You need a balance. So I just feel I'd rather stay where I am and wait for the nice, wonderful man to come along and still keep my stuff. I don't want to go back.
I'm not saying that I will want to go back because the natural evolution of your life is you're supposed to progress. I mean, you're not supposed to spit in the face of progress. You know what I mean? Because if you're standing stagnant, then that'll set on some type of other depression and complexes because you feel like you're not moving. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I could feel how I feel now as opposed to how I was back then. And I'm telling you from a feeling inside standpoint,
Hmm.
it felt better. Now, from a financial standpoint, and then try to provide a better life for your kids and stuff like that, yeah, I wouldn't want my kids to kind of grow up. Well, I ain't gonna say that. I would want my kids to kind of grow up the way I did, so I could see, so they could be a little bit more appreciative of things. I wish they could just see that, for about a year, just let them see how life could be. But I'm just telling you, from just knowing who you are and from a soul standpoint, it felt better. I believe that with my whole heart.
I think it felt better because there were less responsibilities. And when you have less responsibilities, it feels peaceful. But you have to realize to get up to the top is going to require more and more work. And the more you get closer to the top, the harder it gets. But the reward is great once you get up there. But when everything, half your bills were all cheaper back then. A lot of times you were taking MARTA, you didn't have a car note. You didn't have your appetite change as to what you like over the years. So that's why, you have a mortgage that is 1,200, $1,500 when your rent was three something a month. So, but what do you get for it? You get somewhere safer. You get somewhere that you don't mind coming home to, that you don't have to worry about will all your shit be gone when you come in. So that's why it seems more stressful, because to live a certain way, you have to pay for it.
I'm telling you, I disagree. I mean, no, you want to progress, but I'm telling you, I felt like life. You had more fun. You know what I'm saying? Because an
It
adult,
was more fun, but I'm telling you, if you could go back to that place right now, all those people who were there, I give you a month, you would say, you know what, I think I'm going back to where I was.
no, I ain't saying that, and you probably right. You probably right because I would want to give up the comforts that I have been afforded at this
And
particular
not
point.
only that, when you're around people that feel you've made it, people always believe you're supposed to give them shit. And if everybody around you got their hand out, it's only so long before you feel like, you know what, I don't want to be around these people anymore.
Well, like I said, depending on where you grew up from, you hustled and you weren't trying to come up off shit. No way. I don't care whether you made it or not. You always knew who was coming to you and trying to game you. You know what I mean? You know, and that's why it makes for I could be a certain way now because I've seen it all. No matter how they come at me, from the boardroom, to the boiler room, I can handle my own.
And I remember you saying to me quite a few times that you surround yourself with the people like you, with the same drive and ambition like you. You have to surround yourself with people like that. So once you go a couple notches down and you don't have the same people with the same motivation, the same goals, it's only so long before you feel like, okay, I don't think this is where I want to be.
All right, I'll give you that. Now that's the one part you right I would not change because sometimes, boy, I don't know. You love your black people, but I'm telling you, you hate niggas. I'm telling you that now. Don't care. People crucify me for saying the N word. Don't care. I love black people, but I can't stand a nigga. Straight up.
I ain't touching that one.
I know you don't have to touch it. I'll say it for you. Y'all want to send me whatever, whatever. I'm fine with it. But I'm just telling you, sometimes we are. I know people don't like to use the N word and they scared up, but sometimes it's true. We are, and not, and I'm using that in a general term because not only black people can be niggas. I'm talking about in the general sense. Any
I
race
call them
could be a
take.
nigga.
I call them the takers, where they always want and they don't think they should give.
Let me tell you something. Anybody who got $100 in their pocket and decide to ask you to borrow 20 because they got 100 in their pocket, right? And then they tell you they'll pay you next week, right? And then next week you see them at the store whip out a wad of cash, right? Then you go outside and say, "Hey, you still got that 20?" And you know, man, I ain't even got it, man. I'm doing hard. Or you just, I'm doing bad, and you just seen them whip out a stack of money. That's a nigga.
Hmm.
Pay me my money. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But people like that usually feel if you look like you're doing good, you don't need it back.
And then they love to bitch at you and tell you, oh, you gonna come at me for them little $20, nigga? That ain't nothing. That
Yeah.
ain't nothing. It's $20. You gonna Well, if it's $20, give me my money then. The same
It's
way you feel like it's nothing now, say it's nothing and whip it out and hand it to me.
Yep. I forgot which comedian I was watching. They were like, wasn't it? I think it was Chris Tucker, where he said, wasn't it little when you asked me for it, but all of a sudden when I want it back, it's just a little $100, a little $20.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So, all right, we done talked enough and put it all out there enough. We're gonna go ahead and end this thing. And before you get out of here, Carlotta, tell everybody again where they can find you.
I'm on Facebook at Colada's Blogs and Vlogs, and my website coladasblogs.com. And as I said, it's based mostly for women, but guys could look at it too. And it's just talking about relationships and the experiences that we've all had as women, good and bad. We say we get tired of you all, but we all can't live without each other. So we just gotta learn to get along. And it's just a page to help women cope, like a support group. That's it.
Okay. All right, people. We want to thank Carlotta for joining us and allowing us to be inside her blog world. So you can find Random Select anywhere that there's podcast, people. iTunes, Stitcher, all over the place, YouTube. Find us on Facebook. Check us out on Facebook Live. If you see something that you like, please share. Even if you don't like it, please share. Somebody else might like it. And that's pretty much it, y'all. Go to therandomselect.com for more interesting content. You can find some blogs. You can find blogs. You can find all type of things up there, guys. So go check it out, and don't forget to go to the Random Select Facebook page, like us, share us, love us. Until then, people, the Random Select is out, and that's it. Thank you, guys.
There you go, that squeaky chair.
Yeah, that is that streaky